Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for this quick 15 minutes tutorial on account-based marketing and how to start with account-based marketing. My name is Allouche, and I'm the CEO and founder of Metadata, a demand generation platform for B2B companies. First of all, let's talk about what is account-based marketing. It's a big buzzword that is being used today in many places, and it means different things to different people. But in essence, account-based marketing is a difference between spray and pray, the traditional way of marketing, or the way marketing is being conducted for consumer businesses, versus needle in a haystack, defining exactly what you're looking for and finding that within your target accounts. So in essence, the general difference between account-based marketing to the previous ways of marketing is focusing exactly on your particular buyer within your particular list of target accounts and penetrating them. Why should you use account-based marketing? There are 4 reasons. The first one, and it's the most important one, it provides you with a better return on investments. Instead of advertising or emailing a very large group of people that some of them may be relevant, some of them may be not relevant, you actually concentrate only on those accounts and the people within those accounts that if you were to get them, you would be thrilled and it makes sense business-wise. Going deep versus wide. Instead of trying to run a campaign, whether it's an email, advertising, direct mail, an event, and going after a large audience, and only once you get that audience, start filtering out who is relevant, who is not relevant, you flip the funnel. You start with the only relevant candidates for your business, and you start trying to get those people to engage with your content, with your company, with your product or service. 3 is align your marketing and sales engagement. Many times, marketing works in silo. They generate lists of leads, they keep generating them more and more, they get only shallow or very little feedback from sales, usually on a weekly meeting or a bi-weekly meeting where sales says good leads, bad leads, not enough, too many, but you don't get very particular feedback for each and every one of the leads that you generate, usually because it takes too much time. However, when you do an account-based marketing strategy, you get a significantly lower amount of leads, but each and every one of these leads is a lot more qualified. And so you can ask your sales counterpart to provide very specific feedback on that lead. There are many ways to get that feedback, and we can talk about it a little bit later in the feedback loop deck. And then 4 is the approach. The account-based marketing approach works faster. It works faster because 1, you only focus on those targets that make sense for you commercially, and 2, you only work on those leads instead of trying to sift through the bad leads. Your sales counterpart will also thank you because their work will be more effective. Instead of trying to qualify many unqualified leads that you can clearly see that they're not the right fit for you, they're students, they're consultants, they're professional services or competitors or vendors, you really only hand him off or hand her off leads that are qualified. So they need to do less and less sifting through leads and more qualification and account development. Let's start with the first piece, which is define your ICP. Let's go through the agenda for this presentation. The first step would be to define your ICP, your ideal customer profile. Who is the right person to go after, and what type of companies do you want to go after? Second step would be to review that ideal customer persona. Let's get started with account-based marketing. First of all, we're going to define your ideal customer profile. We're going to understand what company profile you're going after and what persona profile within those companies you want to engage with. Secondly, you want to review that ideal customer profile. You want to make sure before you start executing that you're going after the right people and the right companies. Third, you want to go and start developing those target accounts. Once you have a criteria, once you have a profile, you want to actually get a list of concrete accounts and people within those accounts that you want to start engaging with. Once you have those accounts to go after, you want to match your marketing campaigns to those personas. For example, it doesn't make sense to amplify or market a very technical asset to a non-technical buyer. Or it makes sense to give a free trial. 5, execute via email and advertising. There are many ways to execute your account-based marketing. You can do direct mail, you can do email, you can do ads, you can do events, there is sales development. However, in this deck, we'll concentrate on 2 different alternatives. And then finally, is the feedback loop we discussed earlier. You want to make sure you get feedback on each and every one of the leads you generate to your sales counterpart in order to recalibrate your account-based marketing tactic and optimize your funnel. Let's begin. First things first is define your ideal customer profile. In order to define your ICP, you can look internally, you can look externally. If you're a mature company that has a lot of data in your CRM system, for example, Salesforce, then you can dive into that data, into your first-party data, and start understanding by analyzing your current internal data which opportunities in your CRM yield the best revenue for you, highest amount deals, shortest sales cycle, close one deals, etc., and start understanding which accounts are involved in those opportunities and which contacts within those accounts are involved in the sales cycle. Then, based on that information, after doing some analysis, you can reach your ICP. Otherwise, if you don't have enough data, you can look outside to get your ICP. You can look at your competition, who are they selling to, collect the names of their clients, and then the people within those clients that you assume are associated with, or via LinkedIn or many other tools, understand who is involved in those sales cycles, and then based on that, build your ICP. Finally, you can also look outside and say, who would I want as a customer? Who is the best fit to my product or service? Based on that, you can generate a short list of dream account list and then expand that list based on the criteria of your dream accounts. Next, you want to review your ICP. Here, we're offering a very simple template to put your thoughts into writing and essentially understand how your ICP looks like and get buy-in from your product manager counterpart, from your sales counterpart, maybe from the executive team, to make sure before you start executing that you're going after the right person. As an example, we have here type of company and type of persona that we at Metadata go after. We're going after companies who have more than $10 million in revenue, more than 50 employees. There are specific industries we're going after. Here's an example of computer software companies. And we're going after companies who have invested already in some technologies that are adjacent to ours. So they must have already invested in a CRM system, for example, Salesforce, and one of the top 4 marketing automation systems, Marketo, Pardot, Eloqua, HubSpot, ActOn, etc. In addition, we want to make sure we're going after the right people within those companies. In our example, we're going after the VP marketing. He's the buyer. He's the person who signs up the contract. And so we're going after the VP marketing in the marketing department, and we know that what they care about is generating marketing qualified leads at scale at a good cost per lead. This is what we think is a good buyer profile for Metadata, and so we'll be defining that criteria in this particular example. Next, you want to take that criteria, that profile that you've developed, and actually build a list of accounts and people within those accounts who fit your persona. Here we're giving you a few different vendors that can help you build those lists outside of Metadata, of course, to get that list of accounts. For example, if you're using technology to define your ICP, you can use DataNice, AG Data, BuiltWith, LeadFerret. If you're using demographics, size of companies, revenue, location, etc., you can use ZoomInfo, LeadFerret, InsideView, and many others. If you're using buyer intent, you can use Bombora, LeadSift, and other places that allow you to target people based on their interest and buyer intent. In this example, we're actually using our own system, Metadata, to generate the list of accounts. In Metadata, you can use and combine different targeting options, buyer intent, technographics, demographics, etc., to build your list of accounts and the people within those accounts. Once you have a very specific list of target companies you're going after, and you know and have a list of contacts within those companies that will engage and you want them to engage with your content and offering, at this point what you'd like to do is match your current campaigns, or of course build a new one that matches that persona's interest. To answer that question, which collateral to use, you want to answer 2 first questions. 1, who is the audience? That is your ICP. And what do they care about? That is their metrics and their pain. In our example, we're going after VP marketing managers in companies who use those technologies we discussed before. We know they care about MQLs, SQLs, cost per lead, and an inbound funnel. And so we match to that specific persona with that specific interest our account-based marketing cookbook, a simple PDF that explains to you how to quickly start building your account-based marketing strategy and execute on it. The next step is execute on your campaign. Having a plan and a very defined plan is a great first step. The second step is executing on that plan. You have many ways in which you can execute on your account-based marketing strategy. One of the most common ways is emails. Pros for an email, you can quickly send it with your marketing automation or outbound tool. Cons of an email, people get 15, 20 emails today outbound and ignore most of them, or they end up in their spam. However, if email is your strategy, you want to buy that list of contacts using one of the vendors we mentioned before. You want to upload that list of contacts to your marketing automation on your outbound tool. And then you want to send those email blasts. You can either send an email blast one time and see the results, or you can build cadence email where you have a few emails coming in every few days to the same personas. There are many ways to run email campaigns, but you want to execute quickly so that you can learn from the results. Another way or another channel to run your ABM is advertising. Instead of going after a list of companies and contacts and trying to pull them into your collateral, you can use advertising to essentially get them to opt in into one of your marketing campaigns. For example, you can upload the list of your companies into LinkedIn, target those personas based on your ICP, and then advertise to them your account-based marketing cookbook. Get them to put their email, download that asset, and only then you reach out to them with an email after they already opted in. Another way is direct mail. You can take your list of contacts and list of companies and start sending direct mails with your printed collateral to try to engage them. There are many other ways to reach your target accounts. You can go to events. You can have companies like Green Leads or by appointment only to set up those meetings for you, so on and so forth. It's up to you to decide which channel is the most effective for you, and we always recommend to A/B test it on a small scale. Finally, but the most important piece here, is building trust and a feedback loop with your sales counterpart. Many times there is an unhealthy tension between sales and marketing, where sales are expecting marketing to provide them with leads, and marketing is expecting sales to use the leads that they generate. However, many times marketing and sales work in silos. Marketing is generating leads, they don't really know what's happening with them, and sales is trying to close deals as fast as possible in any way they find right, and they don't necessarily provide the feedback on the leads their marketing counterpart generated. And so what we propose to do in this step is to define a very critical feedback loop in which you know what amount and what quality of leads you are going to hand off to your sales counterpart, and you also understand and define ahead of time what type of feedback you are going to get on that lead. For example, you can start in an unscalable way, build a spreadsheet, and have your sales counterpart rank every lead that you generate for them. And based on those, then you can, once you reach 50 or 100 leads ranked, you can go through the list, start filtering out what leads were good, what leads were not good. If they were not good, or for those leads that were not good, you exclude their criteria, whatever was problematic with those leads, their job title, their seniority, their engagement level, their location, the type of company they work with, so on and so forth, and exclude that from your next campaign. If it's a good lead, those that are ranked 10 out of 10, those that are scored high in your marketing automation, those that have an opportunity associated with them because sales was successful engaging with them, then you want to put more effort, more budget, and more time into those criteria. So you can select those 5, 10 best leads, understand what's best about them, and then for the next campaign, you put more weight into those specific signals. Then once you have your insight, you recalibrate your list of targets based on the new criteria, you recalibrate your effort, the channel, the type of marketing that you did, and you run another campaign. You want to make sure that also for the next campaign, you get all the feedback loop. That's not to say that every time you need to get the entire feedback for each and every one of the leads. It might not be scalable, especially not in a manual fashion. However, in the first few campaigns, we recommend that you get very critical feedback because that's the way to make sure you're going to optimize your channel and provide your sales counterpart with the best leads. We're going to stop here because we can keep talking about this for hours. and propose that you download our account-based marketing cookbook, a very easy guide to begin your first account-based marketing campaign. My name is Gil Allouche. I'm with metadata.io, and I want to credit and thank Mick Pono for helping me with this content.